Hello, everybody, and welcome to another special episode of The Best Games, period, where we all live in this capitalist hellscape together, and we've sold out. It's now The Best Brands, period, and we're gonna talk about it. And with me today is Kazuma Hashimoto. Welcome back on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm ready to talk about product placement Taco Bell.
Well, I mean, how could I talk about this without the refreshing taste of Coca-Cola? That hits the
delicious
spot.
We love the Coca-Cola company, I guess. Money,
please. Well, welcome back on the show. This is kind of your idea in a way, because I saw you talking about how you could rant about product placement in games for a long time unprepared, and I was like, that actually sounds super interesting, so let's give you a platform to do that.
Thank you for that platform.
And but before that, I hear from you right before we started recording that you are playing some Judgment.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So now, I know I just introduced this podcast as like the best brands, period, but Judgment had a little kerfuffle going on with cocaine.
Yeah, it was Pierre Taki. He is actually a super famous Japanese actor, voice actor, and if I recall, singer.
Okay.
His face doesn't look like he'd do any of this. He does look like someone who would like do cocaine in my opinion. But yeah, he got busted for cocaine use.
That classic cocaine face.
Yeah, he's cast as a Yakuza, and he looks like a Yakuza. Like, he looks like one. So it's very yeah, of course, I'm not super surprised, that kind of thing.
And why was that such a big deal? Like, I know celebrities, like in the United States, for example, they tend to like do drugs, and it's not horribly surprising when a movie star is found having done drugs. Usually they don't face the full punishment of the law for that sort of thing. But for whatever reason, when he was caught doing cocaine, like, he was removed from everything he was working on.
They basically remove like all trace of you existing. So this happened with another Ryuga Gotoku Studios game, Yakuza 4 actually. The original voice actor and face model for Tanimura, he was under the suspicion of having taken some illegal substance, and this was such a big scandal that he wasn't allowed to make a public apology. Someone had to read the apology that he had written on public television.
Wow.
His career was over. He was forcibly made to retire from the industry. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess what leads to that giant disparity between, is it even a public backlash, or is it something different?
It's more like, so when you do this, you're kind of making society as a whole look bad. Remember we talked about social conformity with Catherine?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, well, you're a public figure, you represent Japan, like, I can't believe, like, you would do this. This could be international news. You're going to make Japan look bad. You're going to make people think that Japanese celebrities or Japanese people do drugs. And I mean, like, people do like recreational drugs, and they drink and they do bad things. But Japan is just very concerned about covering all of this up to maintain its external image, so it can better market itself as a country that you want to go to for tourism, for example, to boost their economy, that kind of thing, or have this idyllic picture and contain its image. So, for example, people aren't paying attention to things like history revisionism, conservatism. Their Japanese education ministry official getting arrested over drug possession, that kind of thing. It's a very curated image of what they want people outside of Japan or outside of Asia to think about the country.
Okay.
You really have to like dig for all of this information in English anyways. The only reason the Pirataki situation got so big internationally was because people give a shit about Ryoga Gotoku games now. Because no one really gave a fuck about Tanimura, like the actor, like going under, unless if you were a Ace Attorney fan because he was playing Phoenix Wright in the live action movies.
Oh, seriously? Okay.
Yeah, so he was like a really big actor. He even played forgot who else he played, but he was like in another like big live action adaptation. And so no one like really gave a fuck about this internationally, but with the Pirataki thing, especially because he's also in like Kingdom Hearts, like that was like something like really like quick that everyone like paid attention to because he's Olaf's voice in Frozen. So I imagine Disney was also very much like, get that guy the fuck out of here, you know, like
get him out, get him out. He can't be our snowman.
Yeah, he can't be curated for children's media. Get him out of here, you know? It's very, yeah, it's like that. And yeah, it's all again like curating this like perfect image of like society and like how dare you shame us by getting caught doing this thing you're not supposed to do. It's just
yeah, like it seems like the important thing there is getting caught rather than actually doing any of the bad things.
Yeah, there was even an idol that got caught like 10 years ago with marijuana, and she was finally allowed to resurface and begin her career as like
after a decade?
Yeah, after a fucking decade.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I guess it might be a bit confusing to people why that attitude extends to even removing, like digitally erasing someone from a piece of media that's already been made. That seems like a lot of effort and money, frankly.
It's
like
the shame.
Is that shame such a powerful motivator?
It's really the shame. It's sort of like a stain on that piece of media. Like, you did something so bad that you ruined this for everyone else and you should be removed. They really go all the way with it.
That's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's just a little not really a footnote, but like something that surfaced in like Western media and people were just like, what? Why is this happening? I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank you for that insight into it. And how is Judgment overall?
I really like it.
Yeah.
I like it because it focuses more on like the conversational aspect of the game. Because you're investigating a case. I'm not gonna speak too much because I really like can't.
Yeah, right.
But I if you like Yakuza games and you'll like it, people say it's very like Phoenix Wrighty, but I don't really feel it is in the sense of the fact that you collect evidence and then communicate or like kind of like cross-examine people like outside of like the courtroom. Like you're a private investigator.
Is it kind of like LA Noire?
Yeah, I'd say it would be more like LA Noire, actually, yes. Without,
Okay.
like, the whole, like, I gotta see if they're lying. You just gotta, like, you know, kind of navigate the conversations into a certain way to get, like, better information and stuff. It's more like that.
Cool.
And then, of course, you have, like, your crazy mini games and sub-stories in the meantime. And you have your breakdance fighting and vaulting off of, like,
Heck
buildings and shit, yeah. It's a lot. It's fun though. I think the combat has gotten kind of stale over the years because I say this as someone who has played every single release of every Yakuza game at least twice at this point.
That's a lot of Yakuza.
Considering they get re-released as well on like the Wii U, yeah. It's
Wait, have you played every version of every Yakuza game twice?
Yes. At least twice. If it's a Japanese only, then once. I've only played Ishin once. Ishin is one of my favorite Yakuza games, but it's Japan only. It takes place during the Restoration era.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Just thanks for that insight. I know you can't go too in-depth on Judgment just because you're reviewing it, but yeah, you didn't come here to talk about Judgment. You came here to talk about product
Gatorade.
placement.
Gatorade.
Gatorade, Powerade,
Yeah.
all of that. So I think maybe starting off, like, what is product placement in video games? Like, that might seem like a really basic question, but actually, like, there's once you start looking, there's a surprising amount of like variation. So in what we're going to be talking about, are we going to also include like entire games that were built around the premise of advertisements?
No, because I feel like that's within its own like subgenre of like marketing.
Okay.
Like that was created with the intent
Gotcha.
to market. This is not cross promotion via product placement, as in it does not play a huge central role in a video game. It's more like what's the English word for it? Subliminal marketing.
Yes.
In video games. Because then we have to talk about like, Pepsi Man and stuff.
Yeah,
and how Pepsi Man itself has become like this big universal meme, but I don't necessarily think Pepsi Man has made anybody want to drink Pepsi anymore.
But there was a time.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, I don't know. Okay, what made me want to drink more Pepsi was when they had that promotion with iTunes. Remember when you would drink a Pepsi, you got like the free like iTunes like song code?
Oh,
so you could download
I do
like
not
one
remember
song.
that.
You don't remember that? Okay, so what happened? It happened because, okay, I'm gonna talk about capitalism in corporate America. So these two kids, these two like 12-year-olds, or like 12, I think a 14-year-old, ended up getting sued by music companies for illegally downloading music. So Pepsi used this as a marketing campaign to sell Pepsi. So they ended up paying off like the company or whatever, the record labels that were suing these kids, and then put them in their commercials drinking a Pepsi and then showing the code. And everyone at the time knew the face of these kids because they were literally minors being sued for like millions of dollars by record companies to try and teach people a lesson to not illegally download music through LimeWire, for example. That's how old this is.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's very old. Like it's one of these things where you like think about it and you like immediately begin to grow like white hair and shit. So they were in this commercial and literally just like them holding up like the Pepsi, like, yeah, if you drink a Pepsi you get like one like iTunes song of your choice for free, like, so you don't get sued. Yeah, exactly. That was like a whole marketing campaign.
Wow.
So everyone I knew at the time was literally drinking Pepsi because they had this promotion with iTunes to get songs for free, because this was just when the first iPod had come out.
Oh, okay. So it was like a perfect storm of all these different things.
Exactly. So I only drank Pepsi because I had an iPod Shuffle, and this was the only MP3 player out of the time that was like mainstream accessible. The iPods weren't always like crazy expensive like they are now. Like I literally got like an iPod Shuffle for like $50 when I was a kid. Yeah, it was pretty cheap in comparison to how they are now. So yeah, like I would literally only drink Pepsi because this was for my MP3 player. It was free music. And yeah, sure, the Pepsi cost more with tax than the 99-cent song on iTunes, but I really thought I was cheating the system, man.
Yeah, stick it to the man by buying Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
Join the conversation.
Oh God.
So right out the gate, we're gonna throw out. We're not gonna be talking about stuff like Chex Quest or Pepsi Man or Cool Spot, or the Coca-Cola game. So we're just tossing all those in the bin. They're garbage. They're terrible. Although they are making a Chex Quest remaster, and I don't know how I feel about it.
But they're really making a remaster of basically a paid promotion game?
Yeah, people have a really weird, fond remembrance of Chex Quest.
Yes, nostalgia, the greatest motivator in any capitalist or corporate decision.
I mean, to be fair, it's basically Doom, but also we have Doom. Like, just the only people who are going to be buying Chex Quest Remastered are, like, old millennials / young Gen Xers, and, frankly, you can just buy Doom. It's okay, guys. Anyway, we're tossing all of those out, and we're going to be talking about stuff like Mario Kart 8 advertising Mercedes-Benz.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the entire Yakuza series.
The entire Yakuza series.
Promoting the Sony Xperia, a design of Italian, a brand of Italian designer watches, Gatorade, Jack Daniels, Crystal Pepsi.
Also, one thing that really caught my attention is you mentioned that the brand integration into the Yakuza series had something to do with the CIA?
Okay, so let's begin this long story.
Let's get into this.
So Yakuza 3 has this whole like CIA plot in it, right? With this organization called Black Monday, which is effectively supposed to represent the CIA. Because during the development process of Yakuza 3, there had been like this instance in which the CIA had tried to infiltrate the Yakuza.
Okay.
So this is based on something that actually happened, right? Well, just like in context that this event was something that happened, the CIA did try to infiltrate the Yakuza, and Black Monday are kind of like representative of this because Yakuza does have some real life events or real life influences in it very clearly. So they have these character introduction scenes at this one point in the game when Kiryu is kind of having to investigate these people that might have killed the chairman. And like your detective friend lays out these pictures and it goes through these montages. And for one of them, my favorite Yakuza villain, Yoshitaka Mine. He's so okay. So like his literally starts with a slow pan up his body. He's shirtless, he's sweating, and he's hitting a punching bag. Once his secretary comes to talk to him, he goes over and grabs a sports bottle with a Gatorade logo on it and drinks from the Gatorade. Now, this is not in the HD version of the game. This has been removed, but for the original version of Yakuza 3 that came out on the PS3, that Gatorade logo is still there. Now, the year this game takes place in, Gatorade has actually not been, like, you're not legally allowed to manufacture or sell Gatorade in Japan because, the ingredients in it, like the formula, is not approved. So like we have this thing in Germany as well, right? And Jake told me about this, was that to meet different regulations, companies have to change their formulas in order to sell their product out here due to health regulations. And this was the case with Gatorade in Japan.
Huh.
Now, what most people drink in Japan is called Pocari Sweat. Pocari Sweat is a sports drink. Hang on. I think they're made by a pharmaceutical company in Japan. And they have a similar beverage manufactured by the Coca-Cola company. So Pocari Sweat is an in-house kind of like, drink. A lot of people drink it because it's literally just like electrolytes in a bottle. It doesn't taste very good, but it's great if you're sick or if you do a lot of sports.
Okay.
It's like the sports brand. So through this, you're like, oh, why is Mine drinking Gatorade? And what is Gatorade synonymous with in America? It's synonymous with athletic events. Gatorade is like it's like the dominant sports drink brand, and this is only because Pepsi paid off like all of these sports teams and their owners to dump Gatorade on them when they would win games, so it would become synonymous with winning. And this is why people wanted to drink Gatorade. Like there's a whole method to this, right?
Wait. Back up to the part where Pepsi paid people to dump Gatorade on each other?
Yeah, so
that's how that started?
That is how it started. Pepsi was literally paying off like teams or like the NFL, the NFL, the NBA, that when a team wins a game, you must dump Gatorade on them.
Gosh.
So Gatorade becomes synonymous with sports, with winning. And then, do you remember when we were kids, the whole like, I think it happened like in the early 2000s when suddenly everyone realized, hey, maybe don't give your kids Gatorade as a substitute for water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that came about because one doctor was like, yeah, if your kid's sick or if they, if they do a lot of sports, give them Gatorade. And everyone thought, oh, Gatorade, give my kids Gatorade instead of water. Gatorade is better for them than water.
They'll be super athletes.
Yeah, so like when people found out that no, you cannot substitute water for Gatorade, a bunch of white suburban moms got really angry about this. And there was this whole thing with like false advertising in relation to Gatorade, and that's why Gatorade has like these like the disclaimers at the bottom of their ads with like Gatorade is not a substitute for water, please drink water, stay hydrated, like all that shit, because there was this whole controversy around Gatorade. And now back to Yakuza. Do you remember how I said how they introduced that character with like his body and like he's sweating and he's doing sports? If you literally
He's
made that
doing
black and
sports.
white, he's doing a sport, he's boxing.
Yeah.
If you literally made that black and white and then colored his sweat, like iridescent, like blue, like they used to with these like Gatorade Extreme, like I'm gonna,
Yeah.
I don't know, play against a velociraptor on like a basketball court and shit.
I'm gonna sweat neon yellow bullets and it's totally normal. That's good.
Exactly. This would literally be a Gatorade ad. Like this would legitimately be a Gatorade ad. And this is why, like, the moment that I should have seen that should be like, wait a minute, they didn't sell Gatorade in Japan then. He's a narc. He's working with the feds. So if you have like that kind of outside knowledge, you're like, oh my god, he's the one. He's the one working with the CIA. And it is revealed later that he is working for the CIA. And his motivations are a little like,
He just wanted Gatorade.
Yeah, I mean, he just really cared about another dude a lot, like a whole lot, and that was kind of his motivation. And Gatorade.
Like in a eyebrow wiggle kind of care, or like...
Yeah, like at the end, if you get to it, he's like, I like loved this person, and seeing them in this way made me so upset that I had to do this, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty progressive.
I mean, yeah. I would say that,
relatively.
The Yakuza games, like, I mean, with the re-releases, they have removed, like, transphobic content and everything, like, and Sega Japan has been part of that initiative to have an LGBT plus inclusive workplace and actually, like, say, hey, if you are a student graduating or if you're an LGBT plus person, like, you can sign up for recruitment, we will not discriminate against you, that kind of thing. So I do feel like they're going in the right direction with that.
Does that include Atlas? I know, like the Catherine remaster, at least for the West, is getting a lot more of a localization treatment to remove a lot of that transphobic content. But is there a similar initiative going on for the Japanese version?
So this initiative came out after Persona 5 and after Catherine Full Body was released. Yeah, so this came out. This was like in May. This was
Just
literally
missed
like
it.
Yeah, this was literally like, hey, there's this huge job recruitment fair happening in Shibuya. It's called Job Rainbow. It's hosted by Job Rainbow, and if you are a LGBT plus business, like you can, or like a positive business, then you can like sign up here for recruitment and everything. And that's what they did. And they were even listed as like Sega Sammy as like being a good place for LGBT plus people to work. Like it is an inclusive environment. Atlas, I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about Atlas, but Sega, yes.
By the way, speaking of Sega Sammy, maybe this is reverse product placement. But for a long time, there's been like this urban legend of like these cash registers that have Sonic sound effects. And for a while, I was working on this story to like get to the bottom of like where these sound effects came from, or if they were like, similar but different, and like what was going on with that. And it just seems like there is a very specific type of register that uses like the same soundboard as like a Sonic soundboard for a lot of its sound effects. I don't know. It wasn't as interesting as I thought it was going to be, but it took...
I mean, like, I feel like it's still like a sort of like, oh, it makes the Sonic noise. I like this cash register. I want to go to this cash register. Like this very like, like this primordial instinct in all humans.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it was like an attempt to play off of the, again, I guess like the nostalgia that people have, and like, hey, if you like this noise, there's almost this Pavlovian response to like, oh, I like this place a little bit better. Like, if you have an option between two gas stations and one of them makes the Sonic ring noise,
everyone's gonna be like, oh, Kazuma, you're a child. You're an actual baby. There's this parking house we go to in Germany because parking isn't free. And if you exceed the amount of money to pay for it, there's like this little light that goes down showing the change going down to hit like the tray you can take it from. And I love that. So I'm like, oh, Jake, put in more money than we need to so I can see the change go down. Like it's literally just like that, like this like very childlike instinct I guess we all have in some way. Maybe not everyone, but if you don't have it, you don't love fun. I'm just saying that right now. Yeah, like I feel like anything that can elicit that kind of response or any sort of pull on that nostalgia will really make people or encourage some people to want to go to that business or maybe um to just I don't know, like go there just for the sake of having that feeling again, or that sort of like, oh, I know that, I recognize that, that thing made me feel good, you know?
Well, and I think for a lot of people, and like this ties into the wider discussion about product placement, a lot of people don't consciously think about that stuff. They just feel it. Like, um, it's like what we're talking about really is breaking down the emotional process, like the thought, the subconscious thought process. Because no, I think it's not often that people are like consciously like, oh yeah, I noticed this product placement and now I like this product. You know, it's more just like, oh, you're thinking about it, you're associating it with this thing that you like, but you're not necessarily consciously thinking about each of those component steps, you know? So I was going somewhere with that, and then I totally forgot where I was going with it, but that was my point.
Product placement. Subliminal marketing.
Yes, subliminal marketing. So, you have so far we have Gatorade proving that a Yakuza is a narc. What other really great standout examples of, I say great with air quotes, product placement are there? I know we already chucked like the Sneak King game into the garbage, but I do want to say that while I was like doing some cursory research for this, I found out that the Burger King, like with the creepy giant bobblehead.
Oh my god, yeah, the kart racing game?
No. We tossed those in the garbage. But that character appears in Fight Night 3 for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The king trying to get in good with the gamers, bringing the hurt.
Yeah.
It's like when they had Fred Durst in the Fight Club game. You could play as Fred Durst.
What?
Yeah, the Limp Bizkit. Sorry. The Limp Bizkit. Yeah, you could play as Fred Durst in the Fight Club game. And
Okay.
I think they had like songs by Limp Bizkit. If anybody really wants to feel like peak gamer, I guess check that out.
Okay, so when you said Fred Durst instead of Limp Bizkit, I got really confused because I associate the last name Durst with Robert Durst, the famous murderer. So I was like, they've just put a murderer in their game? What?
No, they put the Limp Bizkit. They put that guy in.
The Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, the guy who sings about the Nookie and the Cookie. Yeah, he's in that game.
Okay.
I think another great... Okay, again, the Yakuza series has a lot of product placement, and there's actually a mission for a real-life pizza chain called Pizza La.
Okay.
And Kiryu speaks with this sex worker, and she's like, please help me get a visa, and he's like, oh, a pizza? So he goes to Pizza La to get her a pizza because he thought she meant visa. It's an entire sub-story about him getting a pizza from Pizza La for this sex worker.
I love Kiryu so much. He's so good.
He's a good boy.
He's best boy. So yeah, and Yakuza isn't the only series that has had a lot of product placement. Notably, Metal Gear Solid has had a lot of product placement.
Calorie Mate.
Calorie Mate, Doritos, Mountain Dew.
Oh my god,
Axe
yeah.
body spray. Yeah, all of those things were in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
I love the Mountain Dew shirt. That one really gets me.
It speaks to me on a primordial level.
Well, I will say this, because my first exposure to Calorie Mate was through Metal Gear, I thought Calorie Mate was made because it was so popular in Metal Gear. I wasn't aware that it was a cross-promotion thing. I the brand was so strongly associated with the game for me, I thought this only came about because of the game.
Oh, yeah.
This was a pre-existing product.
It wasn't until, like, relatively recently that I realized that Calorie Mate was like its own thing.
It tastes like garbage too, by the way.
But yeah, Metal Gear Solid, surprisingly, like, I don't know. I think a lot of people consider Hideo Kojima to be like this
a genius.
Yeah, like a genius or an auteur. Yeah. And so I love that he's just like, on the one hand, he's super serious about making games. On the other, he's just like, yeah, whatever. Throw fish taco Doritos into the game and Mountain Dew and Axe body spray.
Let's have a cross promotion with Ape Escape.
Yeah. Okay, but that's rad.
That's actually really good.
That's rad.
But is it canon? Metal Gear fans,
hope.
at me, JusticeKazi _ on Twitter, and let me know if the Ape Escape crossover with Metal Gear is canon. I have a burning desire to know.
You have to catch those apes.
Exactly. I also want the Mountain Dew shirt to be canon. Kojima, please tell me it's canon.
I don't know. Was it Mountain Dew was around when Peace Walker came out. Like,
yeah, Mountain Dew has been around forever.
Yeah. Actually, little tangent. In college, I met, like, this guy who was married to the woman who would have been the heiress to the Mountain Dew fortune.
Oh my God.
Except that her grandfather had been the one to invent Mountain Dew. So, like, was the one who, like, came up with the recipe for it. And he ended up selling it for, like, $15. And
wow.
they don't see a cent from any of that. So it's pretty rad.
I can't believe Gamer Fuel was sold for $15 originally. So
Gosh.
Has any game had a Gillette razor cross promotion now that we're on the subject of Gamer Fuel?
Ooh. Well, E3 the other year, right? Like 2 years ago? They had the Gillette Razor Man.
Oh, God.
Like the superhero Gillette Razor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It had like an actual name too, and I'm trying to remember.
I know there's like a sexy female version of it too.
Oh gosh. Oh no.
Yeah.
Why'd you make me remember
pink
that?
And of course they had to like give her breasts.
Well, yeah, how else are you gonna know that she's a sexy female razor?
I don't know. I just remember like Jake was like, "Hey, look, they made a sexy female version." I was like, "No, why are you showing me this?"
I'm trying to think if there were any Gillette like brands in games. For whatever reason, I am trying to rack my brains for like Heavy Rain or something.
Okay, well, I will say this:
David
if you
Cage.
play any MMOs, especially Chinese MMOs or Korean MMOs, they have a lot of cross promotion with Chinese vocalists and K-pop groups. Hyuna was actually used to promote, not Hyuna, no, SNSD was used to promote Blade and Soul in China.
Oh, okay.
Yes. They literally had this whole promotion with SNSD, like, making videos or being like, "Oh, I play this game," you know, like that kind of thing, to sell the game. I think they even had, like, outfits at one point for this.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I
must have been
most people
some
even
pretty
know.
cool outfits, by the way.
The outfits for Blade and Soul are very sexy, but I think they're very beautiful. Like, they're all very well designed. Like, your titties out, your butt's out, but, you know, you're looking cute. You can't fight crime without looking cute.
Exactly.
It's subjective. But
No, it's objective fact.
Yeah, these are cute. Don't argue with me. But yeah, like I don't know many people in the West know who Jay Cho is.
Oh yeah.
You know who Jay Cho is.
Yeah.
He was used a lot on China's version of Steam. Not really Steam, but you know, like the Chinese web client they have.
Is that Tencent's client?
Yeah, Tencent. It's how I was playing Blade and Soul illegally for like 5 years on the Chinese servers.
Rebel.
Oh yeah. But they'd always have Jay Cho promote like various games, and they would be like, "Yeah, like here's Jay Cho and like this character's outfit. Jay Cho plays this game. They would play this game. Jay Cho's face is next to the button, like you know, like that kind of thing, you know."
Yeah.
Like it's they do that a lot in Asia, cross promotions with celebrities or entertainments by extension. Do you want to talk about celebrities? in video games as a method of cross promotion?
You know, I think that would be a good one. Like, I mean, basically celebrities are used as brands almost.
Yeah, they're like
So,
living, breathing brands.
yeah.
You like Kiefer Sutherland?
He's fine.
Go play Metal Gear. You'll hear him say exactly 20 words.
Yeah, it really does feel like they cut the script for that game in half.
Yeah. Oh, also another one, Sengoku Basara. It's a super popular Musou game in Japan, or was until the franchise basically died because Capcom killed it. They'd always have
Rip.
TM Revolution do all all of the openings for it. You get a TM Revolution outfit in the game. You could get a
What is TM Revolution? Who is
Do you don't
TM
know who TM
Revolution?
TM
No.
Revolution is by far one of the most defining, like, a mid to late 90s Japanese pop stars.
Okay. Cool.
If you just look up TM Revolution Hot Limit, that outfit is like in everything. They even put it in Basara. And they also had, oh god, cross promotion with their other games. They had like Resident Evil skins in Basara, that kind of thing, Devil May Cry. They also had New Japan Pro Wrestling skins in that game.
I mean, like, anything you can do to, like, link your thing to other things and, like, increase corporate brand synergy.
Exactly.
It kind of falls into what we're talking about. So one of the things that I found that I had, like, so I didn't play this game, right? So I was just kind of like, wait, what? That happened? Apparently Burnout Paradise. Have you heard about this?
No, I have not.
Okay. Yeah, Burnout Paradise has billboards all over the game world for Barack Obama's election in the United States.
Are they still in there?
I don't know if they're still in there to this day, but, like, you could be driving around the game and, like, just see, like, a giant billboard of Barack Obama's face with, like, timeforchange.com on it. And, like,
holy shit.
It was a legit campaign advertisement. And apparently the developers approached John McCain, who was running against Barack Obama when Burnout Paradise was out. And McCain's campaign was just like, nah, we're not interested in advertising in a video game. So it's just Obama in Burnout Paradise. And now I'm not sure if they kept that for the remaster, but you can find screenshots online, and probably video online. It's not like that long ago, with just giant Barack Obama heads on billboards. It's pretty surreal, actually.
You know, I totally forgot. We're missing the greatest cross promotion of all time, the greatest brand implementation I've ever seen in any video game.
Okay.
So fucking there, you could not ignore it, even if you wanted to. It just stares you dead in the face.
Well, now what is it?
Cup Noodle in Final Fantasy 15.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, how could we not have talked about that yet?
With Gladio, clearly, like the ones that are clearly reading off of a script. Do you like cup noodle? Well, cup noodle is the perfect meal for anyone. It tastes great, just like a homemade noodle, or whatever the fuck he says. And it's like, you can eat it with shrimp, eggs, or anything to spice up this delicious instant meal. Like, what?
Like, this is one of the things that fascinates me about advertising is how it changes with the times, because people get used to a certain way of advertising, and so you need to keep constantly changing it. And we've gotten to this point where it is ironic and a joke to include just like a blatant advertisement like that in...
I don't think it was a joke.
In a game. Well, but like that's kind of like the intent, right? Like you're like, oh, haha, it's funny that we're seeing an ad for Cup of Noodle like in this Final Fantasy game, except that it's like we're at the point where irony has just come full circle and it's just an ad for Cup of Noodle in a Final Fantasy game. Like,
I think
it's not
the
funny.
funny thing was the cup noodle head helmet you could get for Noctis.
Yes.
But the Gladio thing was so like, oh yeah, like tough guys like me, cup noodle. If you want to get laid, eat cup noodle. Like that's like what it felt like. Like if you want to be jacked like me, eat some noodles. You know, like it was such like a weird moment in the game when like I felt like I was being looked like dead in the eye by Square Enix, being like, buy cup noodle, make this cross promotion work for us, please. We need the money. You know, like like that whole thing like going on. Like there was so much on with that, and they Square Enix even did like more cross promotion with their Final Fantasy brand with Cup Noodle with Dissidia, actually the Cup Noodle
Oh, really?
tournament cup. Yeah, they did. I don't know what it is about Cup Noodle and Square Enix.
Didn't
Maybe
Dissidia just like disintegrate?
Yeah, the servers are bad. I mean, like I really was like, wow, I get veins in the game. I love Final Fantasy 12. But unfortunately, the game is literally unplayable. I reviewed it for Nova Crystallis if anyone wants to check it out. The problem with the game is that it's a 3v3, so if your teammates aren't good, you can just get steamrolled by the opposing team. And the AI is really bad, so in order to actually build up an AI to fight with you properly and not get destroyed by the other AI team or player team, whatever you're playing against, you need to put hours into the game to make the AI learn, which seems cool in theory, but not when the game doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, I would play online and the netcode would be so bad that it'd just be like, yeah, the whole screen froze, nothing's moving, get disconnected, the match is over.
Yeah, gosh.
Anyways,
that game had
Cup
so
Noodles.
much potential. Yeah,
Yeah,
Cup
it
of
really
Noodles.
Yeah, man, Cup Noodles and Kingdom Hearts.
Yup.
I mean, there's
how
no...
how did we not talk about Kingdom Hearts? How is that not the first thing that we talked about?
What's the cross promotion in that?
Disney characters,
Skrillex?
all of Disney's,
or Skrillex, yeah.
all of Disney's properties.
Yeah, that's literally like
It's a marketing vehicle.
Yeah, shit. It's like we want to get Square Enix, Final Fantasy fans to play a Disney game. Disney's like, we want to get Japanese people interested in a Western product. You know, like it's like this whole like big thing.
It's a big marketing contraption that is, I frankly shouldn't work, but does. And like, I think, isn't Final Fantasy Kingdom Hearts 3, isn't that like one of the best selling games of the year so far?
Yeah, it is. Actually, I think it's one of the best selling games of all time.
Yeah, so like product placement, like that's literally what Kingdom Hearts is. Each of those worlds is a product placement for Disney's games and really their IPs, I guess.
Well, I feel like when it's done
properties.
well, it works. Because if you look at like Tekken Cross Street Fighter, that shit's garbage and no one remembers that. But like Kingdom Hearts, because of the way it was conceptualized as a piece of marketing, in conjunction with Square Enix, it's retained its status as a memorable game due to our like feelings associated with it as children, I think, and because again more cross promotion and marketing. Utada Hikaru making a song for it, or at least making an English version of a song for it.
Simple and clean.
Yeah. No, that was a song she made for a different album before this. They just kind of picked the song and wanted to use it.
Oh, okay.
So that wasn't actually made. Yeah, it wasn't until so usually the English versions of the songs are rewritten for the English releases. For example, Sanctuary and Passion are two completely fucking different songs if you look at the song text.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. I like the Japanese version better because it's more about like kind of growing past like previous relationships and stuff and kind of accepting the future.
Okay.
It's a very beautiful song in Japanese. If there's anyone, check it out and read the lyrics. It's really good. Very sad though. All of her music is very sad.
I think that's I think like that's kind of the main appeal of Kingdom Hearts is that like you have all of these bits of nostalgia that are ostensibly super happy, but there is like all this underlying layer of bittersweetness to all
and
of
Winnie
it.
the Pooh is there.
And Winnie the Pooh is there.
Yeah.
Hopefully not voiced by the other Winnie the Pooh that got arrested recently.
Wait, what? Really?
Oh yeah, the voice I don't remember which version of Winnie the Pooh, but the voice actor behind Winnie the Pooh got arrested for child pornography. So
What?
that was the thing that happened.
Wow, okay. Rest in pieces, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my god, okay. Yeah, and anyways, this is why using celebrity in your games is dangerous.
I mean, at least they didn't have to go through and digitally remove him from the entire
From the game, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry he did cocaine. I'm sure he did a bunch of other bad shit too, but we're really sorry he did cocaine. I can't believe Kingdom Hearts was like the greatest marketing tool like ever to grace this planet, and we just kind of brazenly forgot about it. Acting as though Disney X anything. Marvel vs. Capcom, holy shit!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like how Marvel vs. Capcom, like the success of that arcade game basically saved Marvel at that point.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think Marvel was about to go under or something, but because of the success of Marvel vs. Capcom, people got interested in the comics again.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Gosh.
Don't quote me on that. I've watched and read a lot of things. I also had like 2 beers while we were talking. I'm a little, yeah.
But yeah, like there's a lot of like these really weird marketing quirks that often aren't 100% visible to people, or people just don't think about them, kind of going back to what we were talking about, subliminal advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's easy in like isolation to just kind of like ignore the Mercedes-Benz in Mario Kart 8 because it's not a huge piece of the experience, but it's there. It's always there, watching, waiting, inserting.
Prey on your nostalgia.
It's doing an inception on your brain. But I think we need to talk about Uncharted 3 and Subway.
What?
The famous meme. Oh my gosh. Do you not remember this?
I didn't really like Uncharted, so I never got into it.
Oh my gosh. Here, there's like a super famous screenshot, and like if you're listening, just Google Uncharted 3.
Subway.
Yep, Uncharted
Okay.
3 Subway.
3 Subway.
I
The
think
commercial.
it was...
Oh my god, yeah, he's like eating Subway.
Yeah, and there were Subway restaurants and like workers in Uncharted 3. And
There's a cup?
yup.
A sandwich?
Yup. I really
It's
did
like
not
the
like
goddamn
Uncharted
cup noodle
3.
thing.
Yep. Yeah, it had like this it also had like a deal with Subway where like if you ate at Subway, you could get Uncharted 3 a month earlier.
What?
Yeah.
I'm also seeing Subway cosmetics for the online mode.
Yeah, you could get like a $5 footlong taunt in the multiplayer.
So I guess I just eat my footlong in front of you and make you wish that you could afford this footlong?
It's only $5.
I paid $5 for this shitty taunt.
Oh man, I think it also might have come out like right around the time Jared got arrested from Subway.
Oh god.
I
So they needed a
to check my
spokesman.
sources.
They needed
on
Nathan Drake. Our great white explorer.
Yeah. Gosh. I just need to look up the timeline of this because holy moly. I need to make sure. Okay, so Jared was arrested in 2015 and Uncharted 3 came out in... Wow! Okay, never mind. We're just gonna avoid this. We're gonna avoid this conversation topic.
What was it bad? What did he get arrested for? You just
Oh, no, he got arrested for child pornography. Yes.
uh,
Yeah, no, Uncharted 3 came out in 2011, and that just made me blanch a little bit. Like that's a
I'm
lot longer ago than I
old.
thought it was. Oh no. That's 8 years ago. I was like, it couldn't have been that long ago. But I guess I guess I was thinking of like Uncharted 4. Well, I feel better staring death in the face.
I mean, we're just getting old, right?
Yeah.
We're getting old, we're dying,
Older
creeping
and
closer.
better? Maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe
Older, better, and
worse.
closer to death.
Yeah, so that's older, better, and closer to death. The theme of this podcast. Um
Wait, wasn't there an iPod in Metal Gear Solid 4?
oh. No, but
Hang on.
there was a Walkman in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay. So yeah, we do have that as well. Sorry, we're getting all over the place with product placement.
It's like one of those things where you start thinking about it and you begin like remembering like, oh yeah, there's just a ton of it everywhere all the time.
I mean, could we even count The Sims? Because we have like H&M like DLC packs.
Oh no, 100% we can count The Sims. The Sims also had like in-game billboards for real-world products, and I'm trying to think of a couple examples off the top of my head. I mean, there was like in EverQuest 2 you could order pizza.
What?
From Pizza Hut.
Okay, I want to play EverQuest 2 now. I want to eat a pizza. It's the only way I can do that now.
Yeah, so basically they like Pizza Hut managed to like buy their way into the world of EverQuest 2, and players could go to like that digital location and order a real world pizza.
That player would be me, okay? That would actually be me.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you just never have to stop playing Pizza Hut 2. EverQuest 2.
I can't wait to play Pizza Hut 2. Favorite MMO. Well, I mean, like, so I would you consider, I guess, like, it's not in-game cross promotion, but Pizza Hut did have that deal where when you order a pizza, you would get those game demo discs for the PlayStation 1.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like game demo discs were like the bomb in the early 2000s. Like that was.
It's why I bought PlayStation Magazine, because I remember they had a demo or like some sort of reel for like Final Fantasy 12 in it, and that's why I bought it. And they also had like a demo for Final Fantasy 10 too, so that's why I also bought that issue. It wasn't because it was because of the Yuna cover art. I'll be honest, she's beautiful. But yeah, I was like, oh, they have a demo for this, I'm gonna buy it. And yeah, I mean, like that really got me interested in those games a lot more than I already was.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Final Fantasy X-2 holds up?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you think about it as a bunch of girls just going on a road trip trying to basically overthrow the re-established corrupt religious system.
Yeah, I agree. I think at the time that game got unfairly maligned. I think it's gonna just age better.
I mean, I reviewed it again. I reviewed the new one for the Switch, like the port for the Switch. Yeah, I really like it. I think 10-2, when people talk about 10-2 negatively, it's because they played it when they were kids and it was so different from 10, or just wasn't what they thought it was going to be, that they didn't like it. Just based on that alone, like the gameplay is great, and I think the story is really good too, especially with like the various endings you can get for Yuna.
Mm-hmm.
I like the perfect ending, quote unquote, but my favorite ending is the one where she, like, spoilers, where she kind of like deals with like, you know what, like I've kind of grown beyond my experiences in 10, and yeah, like I really love and miss you, Tidus. But like I don't need you anymore, and you having left my life is okay, and I've kind of moved on and found myself as like a different person now. I think that ending is really beautiful.
Yeah, and I think it really fits with like the main theme of the game, which a lot of it is about moving on and like getting past your previous problems. Problems isn't the word I'm looking for.
just kind of like where we go on from like a post-war society basically, or like a
Yeah,
post-disaster society, like how we as people can like move on from these disasters, or like the loss of life in our lives when like
yeah.
a loved one dies. I feel like that's a very important message in a game. But yeah, Final
Now buy
Fantasy
cup of
10 is good.
noodles.
Yeah, now buy cup noodle or die. But yeah, I think 10-2 really holds up well.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Sorry.
marketing. No, it's fine. I keep getting off topic.
That's fine. I just remembered that the Sims advertised like McDonald's on like billboards and stuff in
What?
game. So,
No, I don't like this. I don't like this.
yep, it's a thing. And also, it's strange to me, like,
See that breaks my immersion in The Sims for some reason.
yeah, it would have like for it to fit in the immersion of The Sims, it would have to be like a nonsense version of McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Like McDonald's or something.
Yeah,
McDongles.
McDongles, yeah.
Yeah, McDongles.
um, but oh gosh, what was I just gonna say? Totally forgot. Oh yeah. When like doing like trying to read up on this, there's actually not a ton of information about like video game product placement, as opposed to like movies or like other visual media, which I just found kind of interesting. I'm not really sure what to make of that. Like, is it just because like video games are like less or have been less scrutinized in the past because like, oh, they're kids things, or I'm not. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what to make of that.
I mean, like, I still feel like it's conflated with like being for children.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was this one horror movie a long time ago that was like, oh, this shit's like as scary as Fatal Frame or whatever. Like they name drop Fatal Frame. Like I suppose that's the game you're gonna name drop in a horror film, but all right.
Okay.
Or like I guess Fortnite in Avengers Endgame.
Oh, where was that? Where was that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was in Endgame when when Thing happened, when the spoilers happens. Yeah.
Wait. Also, Avengers in Fortnite had like Fortnite has become like this gigantic marketing tool. How have we not talked about that?
I guess because neither of us play Fortnite. If you rather playing Fortnite, let me know how it is. Tell me. I'm actually very curious to see how you like Fortnite. I just can't get behind the concept of a battle royale where you build stuff. It seems very hectic to me. My brain can't process it.
I played like a couple matches of it, and I was just like, I'm bad at this, and I'm never going to be good at this, so I'm not going to play it.
I feel like that's fair. Yeah, like I'm not really interested in shooters, but I'm also like, I'm interested in the experience.
Okay.
Of the shooter?
But you can also get that experience in like a single player game that...
Exactly. I could just go play Red Dead again, I guess, and just build myself a better life in the country.
Just wait for the first person mod in Red Dead to
No, you can already do first person.
Okay, well then I'll shut my pie hole.
No, it's okay. I'm really surprised that game doesn't have any cross promotion with like any of these old like Winchester rifles and stuff.
Well, also, I mean, you could maybe consider like if they're using like actual brand names for different rifles and stuff like that. That's actually a huge point of marketing in first-person shooters, especially with things like Call of Duty,
Mm-hmm.
Or at least in the past it was. I'm not sure about currently, but yeah.
I mean, they do use the Lancaster rifles and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there are like Lancaster rifles and everything, and
Smith
like
and Wesson.
No, actually not. I don't think they actually have those in the game. I don't think Rockstar wanted to pay.
Okay.
For the brand, because I know these like those brands are very much like, no, you're gonna give me the money that this brand actually like deserves, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and Rockstar has like a long and storied history of just making up same but different brands. Mm-hmm. So it's not entirely like product placement, but you can usually tell what they're talking about.
Exactly. You're like, oh, that's supposed to be that, but like, why isn't it that? Like, the place where Red Dead 2 takes place is literally based off of a real area in America. They just give it different names. And I guess it's because they don't want to deal with like repercussions from the city.
I guess
or
that's
like
fair.
have to pay like, I guess, for example, it's not in Georgia, but like the city of Georgia for like the use of its name or likeness.
Okay.
I'd have to read more into that and what goes on with the licensing regarding these things, because there's literally like the Braithwaite Manor is based off of an actual mansion and plantation that is like in Louisiana,
Okay. Huh.
but they named it something else. But it's literally like tree for tree, the same place.
Tree for tree. Yeah.
No, I'm not even kidding. Like tree for tree, it's the same place.
Um. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like we're missing something big. Um. I don't know. Like it's just become so ubiquitous now.
Hmm.
Um. And I think that's largely because games like while there is still to an extent like that um, that sense that games are for kids, marketing like loves that. Like marketing loves advertising to kids, and games present a really unique opportunity to advertise to kids and young adults, and like the key demographics of like every major marketing push. And so um I think this is something that's probably going to increase over time, especially as like basically all the major publishers are looking to squeeze every single cent they can get out of these games.
Hmm.
Like that's the entire reasoning behind this push for live services and like the dissolution of physical media and like all of these things that are by themselves maybe not like a huge deal, but when you take a look at the wider picture, like it's a massive push to squeeze even more money out of you. And if they can do that by also putting in like a Gillette razor ad, like, oh, it's the new David Cage game and you have to shave your face before you go outside, and so like here's a Gillette razor and some cool lo-fi hip-hop vibes to start your day. But now shave with that Gillette razor. It's real good. It's super sharp,
Hmm.
and this is the best shave I've ever had. Thank you for giving this to me, son and or daughter. Like that will just be a scene in a game eventually.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with that, actually. Like, I feel like with as little as we notice marketing now, especially like Fortnite, again, like it just being this vehicle for like constant cross promotion, like it's something we won't even consider anymore in the future, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think many people consider it now. Like the Avengers Endgame promotion came out for Fortnite, and it was like this huge promotional event, but it came with like a completely redesigned game mode, and so everyone was super excited about it. And I don't think many people really thought about the marketing implications of it.
Hmm.
Like, if you asked anyone, they would be like, "Yeah, of course, it's a marketing thing." But not many people ask that question, and so we don't take that like extra 5 seconds to recognize that, yeah, we're being marketed to right now. Or so many people already like this thing that they don't really care that they're being marketed to. But
Yeah.
yeah, where I think especially because you and I grew up in a time where, like, yeah, this was present, but it was usually so poorly done that it stuck out like a sore thumb,
Hmm.
like a Burger King at a fight night. Um,
Yeah.
but
Or Fred Durst in Fight Club.
yes.
Like that was literally on the cover of a game.
um, so I think kids coming up now are just going to view it as part of like what this is what games are. Like games just inherently have this marketing component to them. What was that? Like Monster Hunter has had a lot of
With The Witcher, yeah.
yeah, like with The Witcher, but there was also like something with like the cat and like a product. I don't remember exactly what it was, but Um, there's just, it's gonna be like slowly more and more until it hits like a critical mass and people are just like sick of it and like will actively try and avoid it because they don't want to sit through another quote unquote ironic cup of noodles advertisement. So yeah, that's just kind of my 2 cents. What
I
about
agree.
yours?
I think it's going to be like that. Like the consumer will have to decide if this is something that they want in their games or if not, because at this point, like, corporations will definitely go forward with this because it gets them more money. It gives them a bigger budget with this cross promotion stuff. So like they feel like that's also part of it. So yeah, like us as consumers need to decide if this is something that we want to like deal with in our video games before it becomes like too much, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, so that's one of the things that I struggle with, because a lot of times you'll hear people talking about voting with their wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people forget that, like, wallets aren't, like, money isn't votes. Like, that, those are two very different things. And if they are the same thing, then that just means anyone with more money has more of a say over something than you do. Which means that, yeah, you can not buy into all of this marketing as much as you want, but if the developers and publishers are getting paid by these companies, like, you don't really enter into the equation.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if they're big enough where they can get away with that sort of marketing integration and not lose a significant amount of sales, they're going to keep doing it because they make more money than what any one or even small collective, or maybe even large collective of people boycotting can possibly give them back. Like,
exactly.
And compared to like that marketing deal. And alternatively, for a lot of this free-to-play stuff, like, or even like you buy a game and there's like the option for this, you know, $3 Mountain Dew shirt or something. Like, yeah, you can choose not to buy it, but let's be real, microtransactions aren't designed for everyone to buy them. Like, they're designed for people with a lot of money to burn to buy them. Like, that's why they're there. And so you not buying a piece of DLC doesn't really mean anything because it was put into the game with such little effort that really the small amount of money that they might make, or maybe even the large amount of money that they might make, grossly supersedes whatever your wallet vote is worth as an individual. So I don't know. It would have to get real bad, I think, for there to be a breaking point.
I feel like corporations or legislation would have to get involved regarding this, but I don't think they ever will.
Yeah, not when the political process is mired in money again, because when you can vote with your wallet, actual votes don't actually matter that much. Anyway, this has been your capitalism is sometimes fun, but also sometimes slowly crushing the life out of us for money. So, hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, this is the podcast where we discuss these things now.
And
Best
then
brand ever.
So, where can people find you?
People can find me at JusticeKazi_ at Twitter.
At twitter.com. Any particular outlets you want to hype up? Want to productly integrate into this podcast?
Yeah, I'm gonna plug RPG Site.
Ooh.
We're a website that covers most RPG-related news, and I do translations, usually for the Yakuza series, or I review JRPGs and HD remasters for our RPG Site. Also, Nova Crystallis, your #1 source of Square Enix-related news. And my own Twitch channel, twitchtv.com/JusticeKazi, where you can see me stream video games like Darkest Dungeon and talk about Japanese imperialism and post-war modernism in Japanese media.
It's rad.
Yeah.
Not the things, but the fact that you're talking about them. Anyway.
Yeah, someone has to.
Yay, Japanese imperialism.
Yeah.
Yay. Are you still doing that Resident Evil retrospective? Or
Oh, I already finished that.
yeah,
That was a while ago.
are those in the archives though?
No, they're not. Instead, you can
Oh.
watch me crying over Arthur Morgan for 80 hours. That's in my archive list. Now I'm playing Darkest Dungeon. I was doing some Sengoku Basara as well.
Nice. How are you liking Darkest Dungeon?
It's stressful, but it's really nice to play while I interact with like my audience.
Yeah.
So it's really nice in that way. I think I'm going to end up playing Final Fantasy XII soon and greater discuss post-war and colonial narratives in Japanese video games.
Okay. You
A whole
should
segment on that.
come on sometime so we can revisit Final Fantasy XII on this podcast, which is something I have wanted to do for a while.
Yeah, just let me know when. I'm always available for you.
Oh,
As I'm trying not to cough, I'm so sorry.
it's fine. That's why I edit.
Yeah, that's true. I keep forgetting you do that because like an RPG site, we like never edited the podcast.
Oh, I mean, I understand why. It's like a huge pain in the butt, but I think it improves the overall quality of the thing.
Oh no, I completely agree. Yeah. Your podcast is really great. I don't say this enough because I'm like, oh, we're talking right now, but no, your podcast is extremely high quality. I think it's probably like one of my favorite podcasts.
What?
Yeah, I don't listen to many podcasts, but yeah, because I'm picky. Like I'll drop them after one episode if I don't like them.
Yeah.
So I listen to you and like Tori's podcast.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot, actually. That especially that you take the time to listen to me waggle my mouth around for like an hour every week.
No, it's really nice listening to you and whoever you bring on, like especially while I'm doing like research on like academic texts and stuff.
Okay.
Something to get me through having to read about Japanese wartime experiments on other occupied countries.
Great! Yay! Japanese imperialism!
Yay!
Well, yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to come onto the podcast. I know it's getting kind of late for you over in Germany, but I always appreciate when you come on. I like talking with you because you're smart and stuff.
Oh, thank you. It's really nice just being on and like just chatting with you because you're really cool.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm sitting here in my pajamas.
You are, I promise. I mean, also my pajamas too, if it means anything.
I was like, I know I'm sitting here in my pajamas. You don't have to promise me that. But thank you. All right, so if you want to listen to more of this amazing podcast, I'm not tooting my own horn here. It's Kazuma did that for me. It's fine. But you can find us over on Libsyn, our hosting site, Patreon, pretty much any podcasting apps. We're also over on SoundCloud, and you can find us on community.extra-life.org. And if you don't know what Extra Life is, it is a fantastic charity that helps kids all across the United States and Canada. And basically, people just get together and play games and raise money to help these sick and injured kids in hospitals. So it's really great. You can learn more over on extra-life.org. And when you're there, you can actually choose which Children's Miracle Network hospital you want to support, and 100% of everything you raise goes directly to that hospital to help the sick and injured kids. So please check it out. It's really great. And on that note, we also have a Patreon, and we just recently hit the milestone where we are covering like our hosting costs for the first time ever, which is super, super exciting. And our next goal is to raise enough money to like actually keep pace with how technology demands continue. I'm pretty sure Naomi's computer is on fire half the time. So if you want to throw $1 our way, that would be fantastic. $1 per month gets you access to exclusive episodes of the podcast, which is pretty fun. And if you feel like sending a little bit more money our way, we're not going to say no. So do it, maybe, if you feel like it. Um, and with that, thank you so much for coming out again for this podcast. I really appreciate it.
It's no problem. Thank you for having me on.
And we will see you on the flippity dippity. Thank you.